La 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 tita.
Alright, so I have gone ahead and gotten all of the door openings pulled through, so you'll kind of see what I've got. Hopefully yours looks very similar. You can look in the bathroom, and then of course we did have these two doors as well in the main bedroom that led out to the patio. And just kind of showing you around a little bit. The trick to this was finding what side the door swing was on so that you could accurately put in the door opening. Our next step is going to be to add the window openings. And you'll notice that that might be a little tough because we modeled on top of our two-dimensional floor plan, so we can't see where the windows are anymore. Here's a little trick I have that will help us bring the line work up to the top so that we can still see where the windows should be going. So I'm going to click on the two-dimensional AutoCAD floor plan, and currently it's locked, and I can tell because it's the color red. So I'm going to right click, make sure your cursor is on line work, and I'm going to unlock that group. So it goes from red to blue. It's still highlighted, and what I want to do is I want to move it from where it's located on the bottom all the way to the top. So the easiest way to do that is with the move command. With the 2D AutoCAD floor plan highlighted, I click on move, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I want to snap to the floor, like where the floor and the wall meets, right here in this corner. And I'm going to move it up to this corner and make sure your purple circle is directly on the corner. Hit click, and you will see that we moved the two-dimensional floor plan to the top part of our model. Now I want to make sure I lock it again, so black arrow, click on the 2D. It's already highlighted blue, but just in case, I always just do it anyways. And then with my cursor over line work, right click and lock that group. So now the floor plan is red. And if I hover over, you can see how it's still matched up very well to our floor plan. But I can now see where the windows are located, so then I can start cutting out the holes for those windows. So let's start here in the main living area, and we'll start making these windows. Now looking at this, it looks like there's two windows right next to each other, and this is some kind of a mullion in between them. Right now our only concern is making the openings for the windows to go. In another video, we'll concern ourselves with what that window actually looks like. So right now we just are concentrating on the exterior lines of the window. Don't worry too much about the interiors unless there is a little gap like what you're seeing right here. That indicates that these two windows are together, there's some wall, and then there's two more windows together. Now what's the first thing that I need to do in order to start getting a hole put into this wall? I need to make sure that I'm editing the group of walls that I'm working with. So you have to make sure that you click on your floor plan, right click on it, and edit the group. If you do not do that step, you're going to find out very quickly that you cannot punch a hole through the walls. Weird, I know, but it's SketchUp. Alright, this is going to be exactly like working with the doors. I'm going to use the measuring tape tool. I'm going to go from the corner, and I'm going to drag out a guide, and I'm going to snap it to the line work at the very top. I'm going to create another guide, and we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to snap it to the top so that you can see we've got the outer two lines. The next thing you have to think of with windows is exactly how high is the sill. The sill is the bottom portion of the window, and how high is the header, and that's the top portion of the window. Now these windows were meant to be very picturesque. You know, those big beautiful windows that you can look out and see an amazing view? That's what these are supposed to be. So they're only going to be about 1 foot above the ground for the sill and about 2 feet from the top of the wall. So I'm going to drag up a guideline from the floor, and I'm going to type 1 foot, and I'm going to do the same thing from the top. I'm going to go down 2 feet. And that gives you the general outline of the window. So now I can come in with my pencil tool, find those red X's, that's exactly what we're looking for, And sometimes it likes to do that red square, which should be okay, but I still like to try and get the red X if I can. Come back to the beginning, push-pull tool. Notice that I have a new face on that wall, and I just push in until it turns blue, and then I let go of my mouse. And you'll see I cut a hole into my model. Alright, let's do the next windows over here. Same thing. This time I'm going to do the whole string of windows. So I'm going to do the measuring tape tool. I'm going to grab from the side, snap it, grab from the guide this time and snap it. Notice I'm going the whole window, not just half the window. Here again, there's a little bit of wall separating the windows, so I'm going to grab and snap kind of like that. Grab and snap, grab and snap, and grab and snap. So now I know where all of these go. And again, this is the same dimensions. Grab from the bottom, we're going to go up 1 foot, and then from the top we're going to go down 2 feet. Perfect. So now I've got all 3 of those windows mapped out, and I take the pencil tool and I click and draw in the windows. It is the actual drawing part that makes it separate faces from the main wall. It's always good to use the push-pull tool to make sure that you got them all separate, which it looks like I do. And then it's a matter of clicking and pushing till you see blue. Now this one actually pushed through a little too much, and that can happen. So I'm going to Control Z and I'm going to try it one more time. And you have to kind of find that one little area, and if you're having a problem doing that, sometimes a good thing to do is as you're pushing and before you let go, just type 1 foot. That's the thickness of that wall. Enter, and it'll automatically do it for you as well. So again, I'm going to push. I'm still holding down my mouse. Type 1 apostrophe for 1 foot and hit enter. Now let go of your mouse and you'll see that it cuts. Kind of a clever little trick, right? So there we got these nice big windows. These windows, however, that are located around the rest of the house are not quite that tall, and they do not have the same sill height necessarily. Maybe you want them to have it that way, maybe you don't. So we're going to play with this a little bit. Most windows on homes are actually, the header of the window is the same height as the doors. They like to make things align quite a bit. So you can decide how big you want the sill to go. Maybe I want mine to go a little higher. I think a typical height is somewhere between 2 foot and 3 foot for window sill heights. So again, make sure that you're in edit group mode, which we are because there's dotted lines around the actual group itself. Measuring tape tool. I'm going to go from the bottom this time. I'm going to go up. Let's see what 3 feet looks like, because that's something that I want to deal with. Wow, that's really high. So maybe I don't. Maybe I just want to keep it at 1 foot. So I'm going to Control Z and I'm going to retry it again. There we go, and 1 foot. This time I'm going to go from the top and I'm going to match where the doorway line is, and we're going to have a guideline just like that. There we go. So you can see that they're not quite as tall as these walls over here, but they are matching the geometry of our room very well. And I'm going to look at the very top again, and I'm going to pull from the right edge, snap it there, pull from this guide, snap it there. Same thing over here, pull and snap. Now this line has 2 lines, so I'm just going to go, I matched this one right here. That must be a CAD error on my part to have an extra line right there. Sometimes people like to have 2 lines. It shows you where the frame of the window goes. I'm going to go ahead and drag that out right there. Same thing here. I'm going to drag from the guideline and snap it right there. Beautiful. And now we have everything mapped out on our wall. And it's just a matter of taking the pencil tool, drawing in all the lines. Sometimes it's good to get all the same tasks done in the same step. Push-pull tool, push it in till it goes blue. If it doesn't cut for some reason, it means that you went way inside like I just did, so Control Z, push, type 1 foot while you're still holding. There we go. Push 1 foot, enter. Beautiful. Now we've got that cut out. We've only got a couple more windows to do, so we have these two, and we also have the ones around the bathtub. So we're going to come around. Now I got a lot of guidelines, so the easiest way to get rid of those, edit, delete guides. Phew, too many lines makes me go bonkers. I don't know about you. Alright, measuring tape tool, guideline, snap it, snap it, snap it, snap it. Again, you can decide how high you want these. Maybe these aren't going quite as high. Maybe these are 3 feet high. Let's try it. 3 feet. And then I'm still going to try and match where the door goes. And remember, that was 80 inches. So I'm going to go from the floor up 80 inches. And there are those two windows. If you like how that's looking, you can go ahead and do it. If you don't want it to be quite that high, you can always drop it down again. I'm going to keep it that way. So I'm going to use the pencil tool. Always check the perimeter of your projects with your instructor. Whoops, missed. Happens. Whoops. Make sure you go back and get your lines drawn on there. There we go. Push, pull. Still holding 1 foot. If SketchUp gets cranky with you, you don't let it tell you what to do. You tell SketchUp what it's going to do. There we go. So there's the bedroom, and you can kind of look inside and see if that's what you want. Of course, you can always change this as you go through the project. And then we've got the bathtub. Now the bathtub definitely needs to have higher windows because you need to sit where the tub is, and usually we don't have windows going past the tub where it's been installed. So these are going to be 4 foot high sills. So the window's not going to be quite as big, but we are going to keep the 1 foot length up here. It's so nice to be in a bathtub where you can actually see out the windows and see an amazing view if you can. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to do the measuring tape. Bring this in, and we're going to snap to the window, snap to the window, snap to the window, snap to the window. I think it does go faster when you do the same task many times. Measuring tool, snap to the window, and snap to the window. Again, these need to be 4 feet high, 4 foot. Make sure that you find that Z axis. And then this one also is going to be 4 foot. And from the top, it's going to be 1 foot. Oh my goodness, there's so many lines coming in so many directions. Make sure you watch what you're doing. Pan tool so I can see. There we go. Measuring tape, and down 1 foot. So now when we look, yeah, we've got lines going every direction. These bay windows can be tricky, but I think we got it pretty good. So I'm going to make sure that I use the pencil tool, and I'm looking for that X. It has to be that X this time. Otherwise, I could be drawing out from the wall if I don't find those X's. So make sure you got X's. X, 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 X. And no, I'm not talking about your former boyfriends or girlfriends. X, 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 la, la. Did I get it snapped there? I sure did. Alright. And again, push pull through. This wall is not 1 foot, so you gotta be kind of careful a little bit, but it is a little bit easier to find. I say that, and then this one wasn't so easy to find, so make sure you Control Z. It's giving me a hard time. I'm pretty sure that this is a let's try 5 inches and see. So 5 inches. There we go. It was 5 inches. Yay! Always know the size of the rooms, the walls, the doors. That's just going to help you while you're modeling. So 5 inches, enter. There we go. Looking good. So now we have all of our windows installed and all of our doors. Well, they're not installed. We have the openings created. The next video is going to take you through all of the actual door and window creation. I am going to edit, delete guides, and I'm going to take my black arrow and click off of the model. And I do want to place this AutoCAD floor line back down on the ground again. So as long as I make sure that I got all the windows taken care of, which it looks like we did, I'm going to click on it. It's red, so that means it's locked. I'm going to unlock it. Move command. Come back here on this corner. Click on the top. Move it down to the bottom. And the last step is to right click and lock again. So it's red. Yay! And now we have all of our doors and window openings. Good job!